What is up, party people? Welcome to Sobriety Bestie. I am Kirsten, and today I'm going to tell you my addiction whack-a-mole story. So maybe you're here because you're sober, and maybe you're here also because in sobriety you're finding out that these other addictions are popping up, like that game at the amusement park where, like, you know, you get down alcohol and then another addiction pops up, and then you get that one down and another one pops up, and why do you keep having all these micro addictions, all these mini addictions in sobriety? And how do you get free? Better question, how do you get free? Okay, so here's what I did to get free from the addiction whack-a-mole. My first success in sobriety, and it was a big one, was getting sober, was quitting drinking alcohol in 2009. 6 months later, I decided to quit smoking cigarettes. That was pretty difficult as well because I had all these feelings. I had all this other stuff coming up inside, and I didn't have a way to navigate my internal world without putting something on top of it. I was still using men at that point. So I had a boyfriend at that time. And then when we broke up, I kind of was still getting attention from other men. And then at 2.5 years sober, I realized that I was essentially using men for attention to make myself feel good. So I quit doing that. And after I quit everything, after I quit drinking, after I quit the cigarettes, after I quit male attention, after each thing that I quit of these whack-a-mole addictions, I went through a bit of a depression. Like, you want to see why you're doing something, stop doing it, and you'll see exactly what it's doing for you, what it's covering up, how you feel without it. So the next whack-a-mole that I had was potato chips, and I was eating a bag of potato chips pretty much every night. That was like at 2, 3, 4 years sober. So maybe you saw my What is a Whack-a-Mole Addiction video where I talked about how much I love potato chips, or how much I used to, and how much I used to eat them every night, like a huge bag of chips. Then I put down the potato chips and I picked up spirituality. I moved to Bali, Indonesia in 2014 at 5 years sober, and I was doing every spiritual thing you could think of. I was doing all the breath work, all the Reiki healings, and all the attunements, all the energy work, all the things. I was basically blowing my mind, getting really high off of psychic or spiritual energy, or having my body be super aroused with all this spiritual energy. And I actually, believe it or not, I hit a bottom with that. I don't know if you heard of Kundalini awakening. I won't really go into that here, but basically I had a big Kundalini awakening. It freaked me the fuck out because it's actually a whole lot of energy in my system, and it was really intense. And it made me realize that, like, oh my God, I'm doing it again. I'm whacking a mole with spirituality, which I didn't think could be a thing. You know, I'm changing how I feel. I'm using spiritual energy to change how I feel. I did it with alcohol. I did it with cigarettes. I did it with men. I did it with potato chips. And now I'm doing it with spiritual energy, or energy inside my body, this like psychic energy, right? Man. So at that point I was like, WTF, like, why do I keep doing this? I don't want to keep doing this. Why am I grabbing for something? Why can't I just be by myself? Why can't I just not have to reach for anything? What is underneath that? What is driving me? Why am I doing this? What is all this whack-a-mole addiction thing? Why is it normal in the recovery community that I am that it's just expected that you're always going to have some sort of whack-a-mole addiction, micro addiction, secondary addiction? I want to get free. I want to get free. Do you want to get free? I just want to be free. I don't want to be a slave to anything. I want to be liberated. So I was like, what the fuck am I doing? What's underneath this? Like, what is so terrible about myself, or my psyche, my consciousness, my inner world, my past, whatever? Like, why can't I just be? And so when I quit everything, I went through basically a huge dark night of the soul. Same thing of like when I just got sober for the first time, where I went through this really long period of depression again. I went through all these emotions and all the stuff that was being medicated underneath, all the things that I was reaching for came up to be healed. It might sound really intense, and actually it was, but it was also the most loving time of my life, because it was the first time ever that I allowed myself to be exactly as I am without rejecting myself with the form of some sort of secondary or micro addiction or whack-a-mole addiction. I just let everything that was inside me come up and rise up to be healed. I cried a lot. I was angry. I went through all the feels, right? Everything that was underneath the potato chips, underneath the men, underneath the cigarettes, underneath the alcohol, underneath the spirituality was allowed to just come up and be released and be free. Be free. And here's the thing, obviously, right? Like, if we want new results, we got to take new action. If what we're doing isn't working to get us the result we want, we might need to like flip the script and try something new. So that's what I did. I was like, right, okay, so talking's not working. I've been talking to my sponsor. I've been in these recovery meetings. I've been going to therapy. This shit isn't working. This shit is bananas. It's bananas to think that if you keep doing what you've been doing, you're going to get something different. You're going to get what you got if you keep doing what you did, right? I mean, what I really learned from all of this is that what was really going to heal me, what was going to end the whack-a-mole addictions, what was going to cure them was my consciousness. There was nothing that I could reach for on the outside that was ever going to work. No amount of men or cigarettes or alcohol or potato chips or spirituality was gonna change my relationship with my inner world. Some of those things might help. Spirituality was confusing. It did help in some ways. Potato chips helped in some ways too. Okay? Can I get a like, a little thumbs up for the potato chips? And so this really is what it is. It's like I needed to change how I related to my discomfort. I needed to befriend my discomfort. I needed to stop rejecting myself, rejecting my inner world, abandoning myself, betraying myself, throwing anything that I could that would work on top of how I felt inside so I could feel comfortable in my skin. I needed to learn how to feel comfortable in my skin. And the secret to feeling comfortable in your skin is to befriend the discomfort. So everything that was coming up inside me, I became friends with it. I became friends with my grief, with my rage, with my anxiety, with my depression, with all of the feels that were coming up. And that was how I got free. The way that we stop playing whack-a-mole is by unplugging the motherfucking machine. We got to unplug it. We unplug it with our consciousness. We plug our consciousness into it, right? We plug our consciousness into our body. We bring our mind into our body. We become more aware of what is happening in our body. And that was such a foreign concept to me at first. Like the first, couple years of my sobriety, I was super numbed out. I didn't really feel what was going on inside me. I wasn't in touch with my body. I wasn't embodied at all. I didn't know what was happening in me. I was numbed out. That was the point, right? I was uncomfortable in my skin and I was trying to numb out so I could feel a little, comfortable, numb, something. So really the way through, the way out, the way to freedom was learning how to feel comfortable in my skin, befriending the discomfort, going into it, allowing myself to feel uncomfortable, getting into it, like literally falling in love with my discomfort. Might sound weird, does sound weird. Who wants to do that? I don't know. Anyone who wants freedom, right? Do you want freedom? That's the deal. That's the deal. So happy to have you here in this video. Hope you have a beautiful day. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and that bell so you can get notifications and get all the videos and all the sobriety things with your girl, Sobriety Bestie. What's up? Get into the discomfort. Fall in love with your discomfort. You want to fall in love with freedom? Fall in love with the discomfort inside your skin, in your body, in your body. In your body.